everyone, and welcome to this week's video. This week I got something in my P.O. box that I am going to try, and this is the Prima Confections Tropical set. Now, I have tried the pastel version of this Prima Confections quite a while ago. I'll leave a link up to the video if you are interested in watching it. And I really enjoyed the colours in it. And someone had very kindly sent one of these to my P.O. box. I would tell you who that person is, but that person has decided to name anonymous since I did not have any letter or anything in it at all. So whoever you are, mystery gifter, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough because I never expect anything to arrive in the P.O. box, so thank you. Yes, I do have a P.O. box. I don't speak about it too much because I mainly use it for when I send orders off so that they have an address to go back to. But the P.O. box is there if anyone ever wants to send anything. You don't have to send art supplies. Oh my god, please do not feel like you have to. If you ever just want to send a letter or anything like that, you know, feel free to. It's absolutely fine. That's what it's there for. So the Prima Confections is a watercolour set, but I would say that it's very opaque and very creamy in texture. Kind of acts more like gouache than watercolours, which is kind of interesting, and I really like it. In fact, I think Bella likes it too because she would not leave me alone while I was drawing. I think it's mainly because the weather has been extremely cold lately and all she wants is a good cuddle. But this is what the pans look like before you open them. And the one thing I really dislike about a lot of packaging in watercolours is how much plastic they use and how non-reusable it is. I know some people may think yes, but it's there to keep it, but I wish sometimes that this plastic was recyclable, just because sometimes it feels like, you know, when you're doing them all, you end up with a pile of it, and it's kind of frustrating that that's just gonna have to go into the bin. And I don't know, maybe companies should look into more reusable plastic. I don't know, that's just my sort of forte. And after these, the good things about these pans as well is that you can get refills for them if you want. But another good tip that someone actually mentioned to me is you can, after your pans are empty, clean them out. And then you can replace like them with some tube paint. So say if you've got some tube watercolours or if you've got some tube gouache, you can actually put them in there and use them like pans. I much prefer pans over tubes, mainly because I feel like I have more control over how much paint comes out of it. And I would love one day after I've, because I'm running really low on some of my Winsor & Newton pans, what I might do is I might just replace those pans with some gouache, and then it's more handy for me to use. So the theme of this pan set is tropicals, and when I think of tropicals I think of warm weather, beautiful birds like big macaws and parrots, and lots of really bright happy colours. And since this palette had such a beautiful colour variation to it, I had to draw a parrot. I am so sorry. I know I've drawn a lot of parrots on this channel. But I really wanted to have a tropical vibe plant witch, or fruit witch, let's call her. She's a mango, with a parrot, and I thought it would be really fun to try and incorporate all those colours in there. I very quickly learned that these blend absolutely beautifully and very pigmented, but because they are so pigmented, it's very difficult to lift up from that shade. This is where you want a good mixture of different colours. So this is what I did with this video, and that's essentially all I wanted to do. It was just an excuse to draw a parrot and a witch together. There's not much more reasoning than that, to be honest. I will say, when you are swatching your materials, especially when it comes to making sure that it's going to work with the paper that you are using, it's always good to get a scrap piece of paper that you are working with. Now, the paper that comes with this is cold press paper, and I thought it'd be best, since I've already tested the materials on cold press paper, to use cold press watercolour paper. Full list of equipment, as always, is listed down below with affiliated Amazon links. But I thought this would be a really good way to try out some different colours that I would not normally do. I normally stick to very muted tones, like even when I use oranges and yellows, I tend to stick to more muted tones, and I really want to broaden my colour horizons, and this really made me think outside of the box. I really wanted a neon warm vibe with the piece, so a lot of the colours that I was choosing out of the palette, even when I mixed them together, and unfortunately a little bit did get muddy, but that's down to me just playing around with the palette. I think when you get a palette, it's good to play around with it a few times before using it on a final piece. Of course, when I'm using it here, these are just my first thoughts on it, but when you do get a palette, play around with it first to get to know how it works, to get to know how the material works for you, because I do have a few reviews coming up where I've actually played around with the palette for a little bit longer than just my first thoughts straight out of the box. Because when you get a piece of equipment or a piece of material, or using materials, or using something that you would never usually use, it can be quite difficult to think, okay, how does this work? How does this work? So it's good to familiarize yourself with the material before using it in a finalized piece. That way, not only will reviews on a product be a lot fairer, it will make it a lot easier for you to understand how that material works. Hopefully that makes some sense. I'm a little bit rambly at the moment just because I'm a little bit tired, so I do apologise if I'm not coming across very coherent at the moment. So, bit of an update. I figured I'd talk about it in this video, considering this was just it was just me playing around with this material, having fun with it. I absolutely adore this palette. Thank you, Mystery Sender. I'm going to be using this quite a bit since I am working on the new art book for this year, which I am very excited about. But a bit of an update. I'm officially full-time freelance. Yay! I will be doing a video talking about going freelance and talk about freelance journeys in the future, just because I know quite a few of you have asked about it, and I don't feel quite comfortable at the moment sharing it, but it's going to be, I'm going to talk about the journey and how to organise yourself and get in the sort of mindset of doing it, because if I'm honest, this first week has been fairly difficult, but I've learned a lot this week, and I've had so much fun this week, as well as being in talks with some art friends who are also full-time. They've been absolutely wonderful each and every step of the way. I've been really, really grateful to them, and a few people have managed to convince me I will be opening a Patreon as well. My Patreon officially launches March the 1st, so keep your eye out on social media if you are interested in joining the Patreon. I've just got a few things to do before I officially open it, so to speak. But it's been a really interesting week. I had some new stock arrive. In fact, just today, I've just opened up the box of books, and I am in love with them. New stock should be arriving next week as well. So just consistently working and trying out things, and it's really interesting because you can get burnout from doing this sort of thing. So I've been trying to balance my days in between doing art and admin and concentrating on big picture things. And if I'm not able to do art for the day, because sometimes my joint pain can be extremely bad and it can cause me to be extremely tired, I'm looking at alternatives to keep myself productive. The idea is that I'm consistently being productive even if I'm not doing art, and that is so difficult to get that balance, but I think I'm getting there. But it's just I'm really happy to have played around with this palette actually, because it has been freezing this last week, which has not helped in any way, shape or form. But this just reminds me of warm weather and like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep singing the praises because I just really love the colours. That orange and that teal in particular are just like chef's kiss, just absolutely stunning. But no, so I officially went full-time freelance this week, so yay! It was a lot of fun. It's been an interesting week, but I've had an awful lot of fun doing it. So there's not really much I can say about this piece other than I just really wanted to draw a witch with a straw style hat and lots of big leaves coming out of it and a giant parrot. That was my only criteria for the piece. No deeper meaning. The colours is mainly, I really wanted to work with an interesting palette, and the hair in particular, I absolutely adore the colours on the hair, and I really love the parrot. I'm not too keen on the hat. It's a little wonky, especially the front part of it. The back end is so large. Oh, hello Bella, look at her coming for more cuddles. Like I said, needy cat, it's cold weather. The hat I'm not particularly keen of. Her outfit could do with a bit more work, and her skin shading in parts could really be played around with a lot more. But it's just more testing the materials, and you know, I probably will go back and redo this piece to be more what I need it for the book, and that's all the clues you're gonna get. It's all the clues you're gonna get. But I don't know, I really like these paints. They're extremely creamy, very opaque in colours. Like, they're so bright and vibrant. I mean, come on, look at that. Just look at the colours on the parrot alone. It's so nice to see. I will say, if you are looking into getting it, overlayering, they can get muddy, especially you can tell on the dress part, like her top. That's when I was trying a layering technique, and because these colours are so vibrant and because they are so opaque, unfortunately, they do tend to muddy a little, so that's a warning on that aspect. With these watercolours, you really want to work from light to dark, because once you've gone too dark, you can't lift those out again. It's an interesting technique. You can lift up the watercolour, but then you get that muddied effect. So always best off working from light to dark. It's the same with a lot of materials, working light to dark, so that then you can control how dark you want certain areas to be. It's like I feel like I should have gone in deeper with the skin tone, but I was afraid of making it too muddy. So that's probably my fault on that. I wasn't originally going to go for a black liner because I thought it'd be too harsh, but in the end I decided to use the black liner because I just felt like it was missing something. The liner did add a lot of texture, but it should have been really a coloured liner, but I don't have any coloured liners that I would use with watercolours because they are water based. The only coloured liners I do have are grey and brown, which are the Unipin fine liners. They don't tend to do a massive colour range, and I don't have any of the Sakura pens. The only ones I do have are brush pens, and they would not have been suitable for this piece, considering one is bright green or one is bright pink. I probably would have gone for a deeper green and some purples maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is the overall piece. I really did enjoy doing it. I just love how bright the colours are. So you may see these paints pop up a few times in my sketchbook. But I really hope you have enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you all have a wonderful week. And as always, folks, stay creative.